Hello and welcome to the Oikos Family Podcast, episode number 60. I'm Sonja Wood, and today I want to talk to you about listening. I mentioned in the previous podcast, I kept on using the word listening. And so I wanted to follow on with that because it's something that I think is a very important topic as home educating parents and just as adults, because I don't know how much time we spend stopping and being quiet and listening. I wonder if you ask yourself this question now, do I have really good listening skills? What the answer would be. And whatever that answer would be, I'm going to give you another question to ask yourself, whether your children have good listening skills and whether you would like them to have good listening skills. So as a caring, loving parent, I'm convinced that you would be thinking that you do want your children to have good listening skills. And so I'm very excited to share with you something, and that is behind the scenes here at Oikos. We are busy with this developing listening skills all the time because a few years back I used to do proofreading. Every time we put a new book into print for Oikos, I would proofread it. Now I do something in this year and last year that's new to me, and it's called proof listening. Because we did loads and loads of read aloud time, as you might realize from the previous podcasts, and just being an Oikos family and watching Oikos videos and so on. Read aloud was a very, very big part of our life. And it's interesting now that our adult son, that's what he does. He's a narrator. And in fact, that's his full focus, is narrating. Okay, he also does all the video and the media and all that for Oikos, but in this season, at this time, his focus is narration. And you know what that means? It actually means he's reading aloud literature. He's reading aloud books to you, to the parent, and to whoever else wants to listen. And why I'm telling you this and why I'm excited about it is because when you listen to these books, we are being very selective about which books we put into, which ones we create as an audiobook, because we're hoping that the parent will listen to them. And because we know the season of life at the moment is such that it's harder to find time to sit and read an entire book as it is that you can listen to it on your phone or in your car or while you're waiting for something or while you're cooking a meal. It's just more accessible to you to be able to listen to an audiobook. Now, some people are becoming quite familiar with this audiobook era that we're in, and others, it's an unknown still to them. But what we're doing here at Oikos is we're trying to make it as accessible to you as possible. So simple for you to just go to the Oikos website and click on an audiobook, and it'll then hopefully prompt you through to wherever you can purchase that audiobook. But better still, we hope you will be able to get that audiobook free, because that's what we're working towards. So some of the places that you go to get the audiobook, it'll give you the opportunity to get your first book free or whatever. But we're working on that. We're working on ways to make it accessible to you as simply as possible, as affordably as possible, specifically free. But I'm telling you all of this because of the previous podcast where I spoke about listening, that I listen a lot to these audiobooks because I've got to proof listen to them. And I get so excited when I listen to them. I think, you know what, at the next podcast, I'm going to tell the moms and parents and whoever's listening about these audiobooks, because you can only give a little piece of value in a podcast. I hope it's valuable. I find it an incredible value to be able to sit here and share with you and talk to you. I just am amazed at the value of that, the opportunity that I have to be able to share with you and share the goodness that God has given us, and it needs to be shared. So I just feel very privileged to being able to do that. But I know that it's so small in comparison to being able to get so much more from sitting listening to an entire audiobook. And that is why I'm telling you about it again. As you might have picked up from these podcasts, keep referencing to the audiobooks. I'll tell you why, because we're doing it all week. You know, in the background, before I come to a podcast, there's audiobooks happening. We're creating audiobooks. Jamie's narrating them, and then they've been proof listened, and then the team put it up on the website. And there's just so much focus on these audiobooks that I just feel that the need to be able to tell you about them, because we're doing them for you. That's the whole point of doing them. And they're doing them so that you can receive these audiobooks, listen to them, develop your own listening skills, impart the importance of whatever it is that you have gained from those books to your children, and also get your children to join in listening to them. So you can all sit and do a craft. For example, Jamie's been reading the Oikos classics that you'll find on the website at the moment. They're available as to buy it as a physical book and also as an ebook. And now he's doing the audiobook creations of them, so they'll come available as they are made available on the various platforms. So recently, Jamie narrated Little Daisy in the Swearing Class. Now, that is a lovely story about a little girl that actually thought she was an orphan because there was a shipwreck, and it's a story about her being taken care of by other people, and she has a very deep conviction inside of her, which was imparted by her parents, of the importance of not using God's name in vain. And this whole story is about that, and just intertwined between that is how, no, I'm not going to tell you more. I was about to tell you what the outcome of that was, but let me rather leave it for you to discover for yourself, because I don't want to spoil the story for you. However, while I'm telling you about Little Daisy and the Swearing Class, it's a little bit of a play on words there. It's not a negative thing. It's a very positive thing. I'm telling you about that because it's a short story, probably an hour and a half or so of listening time. Jamie's just showing me it's 2 hours of listening time. He would know because he read it. So for you to sit and listen to 10 minutes of that, or 15 minutes, or half an hour, whatever it is, after you finish dinner, or while you're sitting around the lounge as a family and doing some other handwork or craft or whatever it might be, you are going to be imparting something to your children as far as what the content of the story has to offer, but also training their listening skills. That's why I said right at the beginning of this podcast, do you want to increase your listening skills? I think we all need to. Quite honestly, I just believe that it's a valuable skill to have, to learn to listen and to be good listeners. That's something that I think everybody can value from having. So that's why I'm excited about the audiobooks, because I know that it's teaching us listening skills and it's helping us to pass it on to our children. And if they're listening with us, then their listening skills are also being trained. So that's what today's podcast was all about. I'm just going to give you that to say to you that I know there's so much more available to you in the form of these audiobooks. And I hope that you're going to be able to get the value from them. I really, really hope. As you've heard, I would imagine by now you realize we're not making these audiobooks because we're trying to push something as far as selling something, because that's not the point. The point is we hope that they're going to impart the value that we have received from them. We've received these great treasures and we'd like to share them with you. So I hope you're going to be able to access those and enjoy them, and you will be blessed by them. And I am blessed to be able to sit here and share with you today. So thank you for joining me, and I look forward to sharing with you on the next podcast. Bye for now.